offended by it. I had a hard time believing that.
James Pounds again running for the Boone County Presiding Commissioner post. He spoke on Wake Up Columbia. Those murals showed lynching and also whippings. Pounds faces Quality Drywall construction owner Connie Leopard in the August primary. The winner will face Columbia former State Representative Kip Kendrick in November. In Columbia, St. Francis Catholic Worker House is requesting a number of items to help the homeless withstand intense summer heat. They are asking for your help. They need sunscreen as well as some blankets, antiperspirant, bottled water, and cream for sunburns and bug bites. You can drop your donations off anytime between 7 in the morning and 9:30. St. Francis House is here in Columbia, 901 Range Line, and they say they'll appreciate anything that they can get for the homeless here in Columbia. Our news is brought to you this hour by AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning. For all of your cooling needs, log on to airserve.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:07. In sports, the Cardinals returning to action today for the first time in 6 days when they open a 3-game series with the Reds, Cincinnati's Great American Ballpark. Not Riverfront anymore, and they are not the Big Red Machine like they were back in the 1970s. Boy, they had some great teams there. That was the best team in baseball there for a while. Hard to believe. First pitch, 5:40 here on 93.9 The Eagle. Adam Wainwright going for win number 7 on the year. St. Louis 50-44. Heading into the second half of the season, they're just a half game behind Milwaukee in the National League Central Division. Kansas City Royals hosting Tampa Bay tonight at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch 7:10. Now the Royals, coached of course by Mike Matheny, they are 36-56, getting ready to go into the second half. They're 13 games off the pace behind the first place Twins in the American League Central Division. So again, we will have baseball for you tonight right here on 93.9 The Eagle. 5:40 the first pitch. That, of course, will cut into Dr. Tilbor's show. Sports is brought to you by StevesPestControl.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:08. John Ross, thanks so much. Great work as always this morning. And we have clear skies right now, 72. 6:09, 93.9 The Eagle and 93.9theeagle.com. Traffic with MidmoHires.com. Local companies are looking for local people. MidmoHires.com. Roads pretty quiet in mid-Missouri this morning. We're going to keep you posted throughout the morning. Lots of news, lots of developments. I-70 and Highway 63, lots of different angles on that story. And also a very preliminary report issued by the NTSB about this dump truck collision with an Amtrak train back in June. Train was going 89 miles per hour, but it was authorized to go 90, and the NTSB investigation is continuing. I'm Brian Houseworth, 93.9 The Eagle.
What we're doing today is we're showing you some options, right? So we want your feedback on that over the next couple months. Then we'll fine-tune that and then come back to the public and show here's what we heard from you and here's what we see as the preferred alternative.
Well, this is not Brandon Rathert. This is Stephanie Bell with you on a Feel Good Friday, and I am joined by Brian Houseworth here in the studio. We had a busy day in mid-Missouri yesterday. Brian, you were over at the MoDOT event, which we will cover. I was over at the Ready event down in Southern Boone, and so a lot of folks out and about talking about all of the good things or good things to come here in Boone County. So tell us more about what we learned about the interchange at 63 and 70.
Absolutely. And, very quickly to your point, that is something at the Ready board meeting I covered last week. They actually had a big discussion. They were kind of laughing about it. They had no idea that Ready big event down in Hartsburg was basically set up at the same time as the MoDOT thing. So there were several people, business leaders, that wanted to go to both, but just couldn't because of that. So I was unfortunately not able to get to Ready, but I do know that was a big deal there, and they were going to talk a little bit about Amazon. But I did cover the open house, come and go style, basically, Stephanie, for I-70 and 63. And really, to me, there are a number of options that MoDOT is looking at. I mean, literally, potentially, there's potentially 15 different things that could happen. Diverging Diment is definitely a possibility. They're looking at trying to get right away, but really it's up to the public. They want to get the public's input on that. There's also the possibility of flyovers that they could do. They've got basically $140 million budgeted. They think they can come up with another 30 to 40 million that they can basically, for lack of a better term, put together to help out. But one thing I heard over and over again yesterday from people, and it's not actually in the plan right now, but they could do it if they can get the money. I hear a lot of people talking about we need 3 lanes in Columbia. You could hear that over and over again. So I'd be curious if people are talking about it at that meeting as much as I heard it, I know our listeners are talking about it. That's a big deal.
3 lanes where exactly?
3 lanes specifically through the city of Columbia.
Okay. I think they're right. I mean, I've talked about that. If I'm in Ashland or I'm at work in Jefferson City and my kids have a game over at Cosmo and I have to come all the way up north and go over to 70, it's an hour drive probably.
And maybe more.
Yeah, trying to get over there. And so it really, around the congested times, I-70 is really, it's hard to get around. So you heard about 3 lanes. Was there anything else that people were really talking about? What did they, was there any feedback already on the diverging Diment?
I heard some of it. Basically, it was not a meeting where people were going to a podium to testify. So that was really basically, not exaggerating, Stephanie, and I'll have a map up and a picture up on the website within the next hour. I'm just still putting a few pictures together. There were probably 50 maps and 50 different, basically, exhibits. Maybe more than that. Lily White, by the way, from the Columbia Chamber was there too. I mean, a lot of business people. So people were in there. Burns and McDonald. Every different exhibit had someone there to kind of explain it. So I could only, and obviously not eavesdropping, but I went to each map. I went and took notes about what I saw. I did hear people talking about safety issues at 70 and 63. Heard several people talking about I believe it's Route O, and then an area around Midway. I heard people, there was quite a few concerns about apparently school traffic and a plant that's opened up in that area, and a lot of people feel like that interchange needs to be done as well, and they don't have the money to do that one right now. So, but again, it was just kind of set up. Everybody was basically able to go, but they really want people to, if they can't, and I've linked to it on our website, you can actually submit your comments online too.
Can I also, you said there were 50 exhibits, so online,
Ballpark.
Are they posting those exhibits? So if I miss the event, will I be able to see some of these maps?
Some of them are, but some of them are not. I mean, really, that's something of what I have linked to on our website is a presentation that is basically an overview, and not everything that's in that I saw. So a lot of the stuff I saw yesterday is not in the on the online version, if you will.
So what about the timeline? We're talking, I mean, how far out? We've got, you've talked about the money, but what, I mean, when are we, I assume it's going to be a while.
Yeah, I mean, because they got to do right away and everything. It's a great question. I actually asked Brandy Baldwin about that, and I think we're going to cover that at the bottom of the hour. But, I think that's a great question. And what they're looking at right now, that they really would like to get a preferred alternative done and really put out there by the end of the fall, by September or October. So they need people to keep filling that out. Then they're looking at potentially going to the design build phase next year, 2023, with construction in 2024. So it's potentially, but there's also right away to most likely there's going to have to be some properties that are purchased there. Right? And they didn't specify which ones. Anybody that, and you know this, Stephanie, from driving through there, there's a Bob Evans. There is and I'm just going to tell you, the right there off the highway, you can't miss it. There's a Bob Evans. On the other side, there's a Mark's Mobile Glass. Those are very, very close to the highway. Now, I don't know if they would be able to stay under the diverging Diment if that's built. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know, but I know, and there's a hotel that just was built over there, so it's just kind of crammed in. And I could not tell from the maps I was looking at what that would take or not, but they hope 2024. But the bottom line is people really, I heard a lot, they're happy that this is being done, but they want it done now. And
Sure.
they want 3 lanes now. They really, really want it done now because they're just what you said. And by the way, coming back, I got stuck in traffic. I was trying to do a live hit here in the studio with Dr. Tobler, and it took forever to get back here to the station.
It really
It did. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it can be difficult. So timeline, you said early 2024. Did anyone express concern about the transition and about the construction? I know when I first moved up to Ashland, that was when they decided to close the bridge for a while, and then 63 was down to 1 lane. So have they talked about, what that process will look like? And I mean, I have concerns about that transition period.
Oh, and all the work. I mean, can you imagine? No, that was not. And again, clarify me going to every, and Charles Dunlap was kind of going the other way. He and I ran into each other several times from the Tribune and kind of compared notes. Charles, a fine reporter at the paper, but I went to every single exhibit, at least 50, maybe 60. And I would hear various people expressing concerns and talk to MoDOT. I did not hear that brought up at all. Not saying that no one did, but at least when I was there, I did not. So we don't have a really good sense because at this point they haven't made a decision on what they'll do. But obviously you're looking at major traffic implications when they do go to this, for sure.
Sure. So while you were covering MoDOT, I went down to Hartsburg at the Ready event, and it was really exciting. So it was right there at Eagle Knoll Golf Course. I would say there were at least 150 people there. I mean, the place was completely packed, and I think the elected officials were kind of splitting their time. I did see Connie Leopard and Kip Kendrick were both there, who are both in that Boone County presiding commissioner race. I also saw Representative Reich with redistricting. She will soon be representing Ashland. She already represented Hartsburg, but she was there. And so lots of folks in the room, and of course all the Ready staff. And they actually got on a bus, 2 charter buses, and kind of took a tour around Ashland and looking at all of the new things coming up. So they left Eagle Knoll, they went by Rankin, they went up to the industrial park, took a look at the Amazon Center, they went over to the airport and got kind of a preview of the new terminal, and then back down toward Cartwright Industrial Park. They went over and talked to Nick Parks over at Lakeside Ashland, and then went over to the schools, and because the schools are just completing a project. And we will actually have Matt Sharp with Southern Boone here in the 7 o'clock hour to talk to us about some of those projects. A lot of work being done down in Southern Boone, so very exciting.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you, I would have loved to have gone. I could only be in one place at one time. But yeah, as soon as I heard, and Kip and Connie were both at the Ready board meeting, and when I think it was Mayor Buffalo pointed out, guys, that you've got these all scheduled at the same time. Everybody was kind of laughing. When MoDOT set up their time for this, they did not know about Ready's meeting and vice versa, so they just happened to be at the same time. I guess a few people theoretically could go to both, would have been tough with the traffic, but I'm glad in that Amazon thing, I sense a lot of excitement too, no doubt.
Really is. And, I was appointed to the Board of Aldermen during the middle of COVID, and so I haven't had, as much opportunity to meet with regional leaders and regional business owners as I would have liked. And you could really see the enthusiasm in the room for an in-person regional event last night. I think that's why so many people showed up. And I think there's a big appetite for more of that coordination and just talking about regional economic development in the future. So
that's
a lot
awesome.
of excitement.
Great job.
We will be getting into, Brian had mentioned that the NTSB report from the Mercer train derailment was released in the last 12 hours. We're going to have more this morning for you on that at 6:36. We also have, like I said, we'll be talking to Southern Boone Schools in the 7 o'clock hour, and we'll be talking to Jayme Dement Prenger of the Missouri Women's Business Center in the 8 o'clock hour. But coming up just a few minutes from now, we will have your daily DC rundown and a Missouri elected official going viral yesterday after the J6 hearing. So, a Missouri senator yesterday, front and center in the January 6th hearings, and that's what gets us into our daily DC rundown with myself today, right?
Well,
Hosted by Stephanie Bell with Stephanie Bell. All right. So, Josh Hawley, you heard the word, and she actually used that word. She said, Senator Hawley fled. And that's when I saw the headlines, and it kind of went viral yesterday. When I saw the headlines, every headline I saw said, Josh Hawley fleeing, and I thought, really? That's kind of weird. And then I went back and watched the video. And Hannah, have you seen the video?
I have, yeah.
I was underwhelmed. I mean, It seemed he was like coming down the stairs. Everyone else was also, I think I would say, evacuated. I think they were probably told they needed to evacuate. So I was underwhelmed by this January 6th theatrics yesterday. But again, prime time last night. Again, I think that was the 8th hearing. I think they're taking a break for a while.
I hope so.
I'm sure we'll see it back. Also, Biden has COVID. What was your reaction yesterday, Hannah, when you got the news alert that Biden had COVID?
I think it's ridiculous that we get news alerts when anybody tests positive for COVID. But my immediate thought was, oh boy, I bet Kamala Harris is very excited.
Well, I bet she was. So Kamala and the First Lady both apparently have tested negative. But Biden does have COVID. He said he was going to take, is it Paxlovid? I think that's what Randy Tobler, who is here at 4 o'clock, I think he was on our show yesterday. I think he was saying he is going to take that as well. Apparently, it's a 5-day regimen and it should have you back to feeling like new, hopefully soon. For me, the announcement kind of made me contrast when I first learned Missouri Governor Parson had COVID way back in 2020. And I remember hearing that news and feeling almost devastated, like really concerned. And it just, the swing with which, how fast things have changed and how fast some of the treatments have progressed, I think was really when I heard the news, I was like, oh, well, not that I wish anything bad on him, just that the concern level has changed so much over the last 2 years. So, Biden does have COVID. The Congress is moving on. They voted, they're enshrining various rights or trying to codify various rights into federal law. Yesterday, they voted on contraception rights. The chamber voted 228 to 195 with 8 Republicans crossing party lines. That heads over to the Senate. With an eye towards 2024, all eyes are on Arizona today. There's some big rallies in the Arizona gubernatorial race, and Pence is backing one candidate, Trump backing another. And so we were watching that. And just to recorrect myself from earlier this week, that primary takes place the same day as Missouri's. But big rallies today, a Trump v. Pence face-off.
If you're having a problem with ants, mosquitoes, or any other type of pest, don't worry. You have a friend in the pest control business, Steve's Pest Control. Find them online at Steve's Pest Control and get your problem solved today.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. It is 6:31. We do have sunny skies. 72 is our current temperature. Heat advisory kicks in today at noon here in Columbia and all across the listening area. Our high today, 102. Next chance of rain comes your way on Sunday afternoon, probably closer to Sunday evening. I'm Brian Houseworth. Good morning, everyone. Columbia area residents packing the Ark on Thursday to view detailed maps and exhibits of a proposed $140 million upgrade at heavily traveled I-70 and Highway 63. State Department of Transportation Project Director Brandy Baldwin is pleased with the strong turnout.
What we're doing today is we're showing you some options, right? So we want your feedback on that over the next couple months, then we'll fine-tune that and then come back to the public and show here's what we heard from you and here's what we see as the preferred alternative.
Baldwin tells 93.9 The Eagle construction on the I-70 and 63 project is not expected to start until 2024. The NTSB says the deadly June collision between an Amtrak passenger train and a dump truck in northern Missouri's Mendon caused $4 million in damage. NTSB has released a 2-page preliminary report. Governor Parson signs an executive order declaring a drought alert for 53 counties in Missouri, most in southern and mid-Missouri. Boone, Cole, Cooper, Howard, all on that list. Governor Mike Parson telling Capitol reporters a drought in July can literally mean financial loss or ruin for Missouri's farm families.
Missouri farmers are already facing high fertilizer costs, unprecedented fuel prices, supply chain issues, and increasing operational costs.
75% of Missouri is now in a drought. That's according to our MDA Agriculture Director, Chris Chin. And a construction company owner running for Boone County Presiding Commissioner says we need more prosecutors here in Boone County. That's Connie Leopard. She spoke on Wake Up Columbia. News brought to you by Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning. Turning our attention now to sports. It's been a while since we've had Cardinal baseball right here on 93.9 The Eagle. It's actually been since last Saturday, and that because the Cardinals had the All-Star break, and Sunday their game was rained out at Busch Stadium. But today they're hopefully going to be able to play Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Cardinals opening up a 3-game series on the road. First pitch 5:40 here on 93.9 The Eagle. Wainwright going for win number 7 on the year. St. Louis 50-44 heading into the season's second half. They're a half game behind Milwaukee in the National League Central Division. Royals hosting Tampa Bay tonight at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch 7:10. The Royals 13 games behind the first place Twins in the American League Central Division. As my colleague Stephanie Bell pointed out, the Daniel Boone Little League softball is going to be heading to the Little League World Series, and she'll talk more about that a little bit later this hour right here on Wake Up Columbia. Congratulations to them. Our sports is brought to you this hour by MidAmericaMortgage.us. You can apply now for a loan on your dream home. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 6:34. Traffic check, MidmoHires.com. Local companies looking for local people. MidmoHires.com. Find a job, post your job opening today. Roads are pretty quiet here in mid-Missouri. If you want to report a traffic issue, call or text us 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Houseworth, 93.9 The Eagle. Review guests.
Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rathert today. We are celebrating a Feel Good Friday, and we've got Sandy already checking in on the text. She says she's thankful for her husband and family. So if you want to, you can give us a quick text at 874-9390. Let us know what you're feeling good about on this Friday. And we all remember to wear our red today. Hannah, why do we wear red on Fridays?
We wear red to remember everyone deployed. And knock on wood, it's been a while since one of us forgot to wear red on a Friday.
You're going to jinx us,
I know.
Hannah. You're going to jinx us.
Last Friday, didn't Brandon wear like a black sweatshirt over his red shirt? And we had some speculation on if he forgot.
Yes. His latest outfit has been a hoodie with shorts and flip-flops.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all year round.
He is, I don't think anyone wants to take their fashion sense from Brandon, right? If you haven't seen it, there's a very nice picture of our latest photo shoot on Facebook of Brandon. What is he wearing? A blazer?
Yeah,
jeans.
nice like suit jacket, a button-down shirt, jeans, and then flip-flops.
Of course. Totally Brandon. Well, we have some basically breaking news, Brian, related to this train derailment. In the last 12 hours, we got the initial report, and you had initially thought that it was going to be a while before we got this report. Now, most government reports come down in their 300 pages. You noted in your news 2 pages, so not a whole lot of info, but what do we know that's new?
Yeah, and to point it out, this is a very preliminary report, and I'd been in touch with the folks at NTSB who've been very helpful in terms of covering this. So we knew something was going to be coming down pretty quickly, even this week. I thought maybe next week as well. So it's very preliminary. Basically, there's no real cause that they've identified yet. They said that the train was going 89 miles per hour. It was authorized to go 90. They point out the weather was fine. They talk a little bit about the fact that stretch of the railroad is controlled by basically for lack of a better term, it's controlled out of Texas. I got the name of the town in my report in the newsroom. I don't recall it right off the top of my head, but that's something I wasn't aware of, that train but was handled down there. But what they're going to do is continue to investigate, and they are looking at the rail car design. I've had some listeners, at least one, maybe two, for sure one, that have said that there's a dust problem, that people that drive through that intersection, in other words, there's dust that comes out when a car drives through there. And I'm very familiar with Sheraton County in very close crossing sections, not quite that one, but down the road a little bit. And I don't remember dust there, but that is not mentioned in the report, so we'll see what they decide. But there's no timeline on when we'll get more details from them. But this is at least a 2-page report. $4 million in damage, wow. Most of that to the railway. And I did look, they took a drone photo, and it was the drone photo just showed how big this derailment was, this large scene. From the air, you really can tell how big it is. I mean, it's, I don't know how big it is in terms of, it looks like a mile maybe of everything on its side, and then a lot of debris. I couldn't even see where the dump truck was from this drone, by the way. Just could not tell.
Now, after the initial reports, I know the listeners had some dispute because I think Amtrak was calling it an uncontrolled intersection, and listeners were saying, "Oh no, there was some type of controls there." Has that been resolved?
That's definitely the Amtrak and the Highway Patrol in MoDOT all say it is an uncontrolled intersection. So I think the callers that were saying that were close. I'm thinking it was just maybe a couple of blocks away, because there's a number of other crossings that are nearby, but that one particular is an uncontrolled crossing. And when I come back in at 7, I don't have the report right in front of me right now. They mentioned a crossbuck, and they mentioned a couple things that I can point out, but they actually used the word fouled, like a foul, like in basketball, that the dump truck was fouling the, and that's again a term that it's kind of a train term, if you will. That means it was in the right of way. So, but we don't know at this point, because it's still part of the investigation, why the dump truck was there. And this dump truck driver had a lot of experience. There are a number of lawsuits. There are people that are suing the county saying it was dangerous, and the dump truck companies involved in suits. Amtrak's getting sued by some passengers. So there's just all sorts of this thing's going to take a while. Not just the investigation, but then the suits afterwards.
Does the initial report say anything about when we should expect a full report?
No, it does not. It doesn't provide a time frame. I've been keeping regular contact with the NTSB, and I'll check on that today. But the first thing I want to do is get an idea of the preliminary. But 2 pages is what it is, and there's good detail in there. There is. I want to say it was 270 passengers, 12 crew members. 4 people killed, 3 were passengers, 1 was the dump truck driver, but that damage number was extensive, 4 million.
Significant,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was really sad when I remembered that Brandon wasn't going to be here this morning, and I saw this headline yesterday in the Columbia Missourian. It said, monarch butterfly added to international endangered species list. And I know Brandon would be having an absolute fit right now, because if you recall, we had that no mow zone on Scott Boulevard, which one listener texted in and said that they had actually mowed it, and they had put up these signs that said no mow zone, and we're protecting something. We didn't really, from the signs you couldn't really tell what they were trying to protect, but once you went to the website, they basically said we're not mowing this median and all of this stuff next to Scott Boulevard because we're trying to protect the monarchs. And butterflies are very important. And so I think the people who are in favor of the no mow zone and the folks writing these articles are conspiring against Brandon Rathert to add these monarchs to the international endangered species list to try to bring those no mow zones back. So I can't wait till he hears this news, because I'm sure he will be really fired up about it.
He always misses the best stories, I swear.
Right. Another thing that is very Columbia that I saw yesterday on one of my friends' posts, and I think she's actually moved to Kansas City, but she did grow up here in Columbia, and I thought this was such a fun post. But she posted a picture of the iconic Shakespeare's cup and said, "Are you even from mid-Missouri if you don't own at least one Shakespeare's cup?" And I thought, when was the last time my kitchen cabinet didn't have a Shakespeare's cup?
Or even multiple Shakespeare's cups.
Oh, full. Yeah, Shakespeare's cups. I actually opened my cabinet, and yeah, Shakespeare's cups. I have a couple Trops cups, but so very Columbia. And I thought, is there anything else out there that is, if we made that a blank? Are you even from mid-mo if you don't own blank? And I think about that. Do other cities, is there like an iconic something from Centralia or California that like only, even if you're out of town, like if you walked into somebody's apartment in Kansas City and you opened their cabinet and you saw the Shakespeare's cup, you were like, yep, Columbia, Missouri.
For California, and it's less something that would go in the cabinet, I guess, but if you don't own, or if you don't have any like burger smokehouse meat products in your house,
okay,
you're probably doing something wrong.
I can see that. Yeah, that's a great one. So if you have something to add to this list, I think this is really interesting and such a fun post. If you have anything to add to the list or something that's iconic for your mid-Missouri town, let us know at 874-9390. Coming up, some really exciting news for some young folks here in Boone County. Some youth, Daniel Boone Little League softball. We might be able to watch them. Actually, we will be able to watch them on ESPN next week. And we will have Taylor Bartlett with us coming up to tell us more about what they did to get there and what we can expect next week. We're really, next week on ESPN. We're excited about that. And then at 7:10, we will be joined by Matt Sharp of Southern Boone Schools. A lot going on there. We know you all have a lot of questions. This is Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rathert. We are getting a lot of texts of Shakespeare's cups. I love to see it. One of my friends had posted, "Are you even from Mid-Mo if you don't own at least one Shakespeare's cup?" So we were asking you all, what is that iconic Columbia or other Mid-Missouri thing? Hannah says if you're from California, you probably have some Burger Smokehouse in your house. So text us at 874-9390. You can also text us because we're celebrating a Feel Good Friday, what you are feeling good about. One thing that I've been feeling really good about lately is all of the cool things our youth in Columbia are doing. We recently talked to Ava Fleury, who, what was she, 14, Hannah?
Yeah.
And a perfect score on the ACT.
Yeah, getting ready to enroll in college.
I mean, I can't even fathom that. And it makes me mad because I kept getting the same score on the ACT and I needed one more point to get a higher scholarship level, and I took it 3 times and got the same score. And finally,
I'd be so mad
because you pay all that money, you study all that time, and finally on the 3rd try, I was like, you know what, this is just my score. I'm going to move on. In the end, I think things worked out for me, but I was so frustrated.
I got lucky because I was in the same boat. I scored 1 point under what I needed for a scholarship from Mizzou, and Mizzou actually so graciously bumped me up, and I didn't have to worry about getting the next point.
Wow, so nice of them. But then they also raised your tuition by how much while you were there?
A lot. It kind of canceled out, but it's fine.
Well, we have a lot of great young people around Mid-Mo doing great things. And one thing I learned yesterday is we are going to be able to watch some of our youth right here in Columbia on ESPN. So I'd like to welcome to the show Taylor Bartlett. Welcome in.
Hi there. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Can you tell us what's your
ahead.
connection to these young women in Columbia, Missouri?
Well, I am the vice president of softball at Daniel Boone Little League. And this week, our Little League Majors softball young ladies will be playing in Indianapolis. I believe their first game is Monday. But I kind of run the program at Daniel Boone on the softball side. And, we probably, in terms of competition, I think we've won the state championship 5 out of the last, there was a COVID year where they did not play, but I think it's 6 straight, actually. And we've got a pretty good program in Columbia at Daniel Boone, and this is the time of year where they get the chance to play on ESPN and ESPN Plus. And these young ladies work hard. They've been working all year, and a lot of them play on travel teams around the area as well. So it's not just Little League ball that they're playing all the time. But this is a time of year when the community of Columbia and Boone County rallies around Daniel Boone Little League to help us out a little bit financially and with, support from the overall community, so that our girls can make this trip and their families can go with them and put their best foot forward when competing with other teams from I think it's 8 other states, I believe.
Wow. So they've won the state championship. Now they're kind of going to the central regional championship, and that will be a tournament. What happens if they take that one home?
Well, if they're fortunate enough to win that one, they would advance to the Little League Softball World Series in Greenville, North Carolina. Last year, we actually did send a team to North Carolina for the first time in our history. They finished 3rd in the tournament, which is a really big achievement. So this team is trying to do the same thing. But they've got to take one step at a time. The regionals will be tough, and we've only gotten to the World Series one time. So hopefully they'll play well, have some luck, and have a chance to make it there.
So if people want to follow along, is there a website or a Facebook page so you said they could tune in on ESPN Plus?
Yeah, I would say Daniel Boone Little League has a Facebook page. It probably would be smart if folks wanted to get up-to-date info to follow that Facebook page. You can also follow my personal Facebook page. I'll be posting updates. That's just under my name, Taylor Bartlett. and we'll try to get as much info out there as we can. The schedule, I believe their first game is at 3 p.m. on Monday, and it's out there on Little League World. I believe it's littleleague.com. I would need to double check that, but it's the National Little League site, and you can Google Central Region Little League Softball as well, and it'll get you to the right spot. But there'll be some updates coming on Facebook for sure.
And what ages are these girls?
Primarily 11 and 12 years of age. 11 and 12-year-olds.
That's a big stage for an 11 and 12-year-old being on ESPN.
Absolutely it is. But these kids are talented and they work hard, so we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations, Taylor, to you and the Daniel Boone program. It's really exciting for Columbia to see you all on the national stage. We'll be cheering you on. So thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you. Well, and, Hannah, Brian was talking about it, and I know early this spring, Mid-Missouri kind of swept the baseball state championships. Do you remember that? I think like 4 state championships or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I think we had a state champion in almost every divisional class from Misha.
I know the Southern Boone baseball boys have been very busy. They got recognition at the Board of Aldermen meeting, and I saw they got recognition at the school board meeting, and they were in the 4th of July parade. So I know they have been really kind of taking a victory lap after that state championship. But I really think Mid-Missouri is becoming home, kind of like this baseball hub, right? And I think that's really interesting. And I think part of it is because we have such solid youth programs that kind of feed into these high school teams. So congratulations to the folks over at Daniel Boone and to all those. I mean, I know my son played baseball one year, and the amount of time that the dads and the coaches put in, I think for a June league, they started in January, and I know probably for teams like this, they do it all year round. So to all those parents out there and coaches who, spend a lot of time volunteering with those youth, we appreciate you. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We are going to talk to Southern Boone School District, Matt Sharp, at 7:10. There's some construction going on. They're actually moving a grade. My son, who will be going into 5th grade, should have been going to the elementary. He's moving up to the middle school, and I know parents have a lot of questions and concerns about putting 5th graders with 8th graders. There's the big Rankin Tech project, which we talk a lot, that Matt will have an update on, so we're very excited about that. And then later in the show, we will be talking to Jayme Dement Prenger. She's over at the Missouri Women's Business Center, and we talk here on the show a lot about small businesses. I actually bumped into her last night at their Ready event and was really excited to see her and some other folks from the Missouri Women's Business Center. But there are so many resources for folks around Columbia who have a business idea or who have a small business and just need a little bit of assistance. So we're excited to talk to those guests later today. You are listening to 93.9 The Eagle.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. 7:03 is our time here in mid-Missouri. It is 73 degrees. Right now in mid-Missouri, we have partly clear skies, and we're expecting a high today of around 102 degrees, partly cloudy tonight with a low near 76 degrees. Good morning, everyone. Here's some of the stories we're working on for you in this 7 o'clock hour. Mid-Missouri's Boone, Cole, Cooper, Howard, Miller counties, just some of the counties named by Governor Parson in his executive order declaring a drought alert. The governor describing Missouri farmers as a critical resource for our state. State Department of Agriculture Director Chris Chin joining the governor at a press conference at the Capitol and says right now there is no pasture in many areas.
Today, almost 75% of Missouri is in a drought, with 35% experiencing severe to extreme drought. Basically, the entire southern half of Missouri is in a drought condition.
Missouri Soil and Water Conservation Commission has called a special meeting for Monday. They'll consider assistance for farmers and ranchers. The State Department of Natural Resources is assessing state park areas that can be made available for haying as well. According to the governor, right now this can result in some ruin and also a lot of problems for Missouri farmers. And again, we'll keep you posted on that meeting that is scheduled for Monday. That's the Soil and Water Conservation Commission meeting. Meantime, National Weather Service is urging mid-Missourians to stay hydrated again today and to wear light-colored clothing, not just today, but all weekend. Temperatures in Columbia and Jefferson City for today expected to hit 102 degrees. NWS St. Louis meteorologist Jerred Maples tells 93.9 The Eagle the next chances of rain for mid-Missouri are late Sunday afternoon or evening. Again on Monday or Tuesday. That is good news because he says a front could stall. That could bring more rainfall to the area. In terms of total amounts, they're still trying to project that right now. Looking at probably Sunday evening right now at the earliest, although there's a chance of Sunday afternoon as well. State transportation officials say a diverging diamond is one possibility for Columbia's outdated I-70 Highway 63 interchange. It's the busiest interchange in mid-Missouri. MoDOT Project Director Brandy Baldwin explains how a diverging diamond works.
You're making a left-hand turn, you're going to go stay tight on the left-hand side and cross over that way. And that just keeps traffic moving a little quicker. So you're not crossing over lanes of traffic. We're actually moving the lanes of traffic to where they're closer to the most frequent movements.
MoDOT has a diverging diamond right now at I-70 and Stadium in West Columbia. That was the first one here in mid-Missouri. It opened in 2014, and the residents packing Thursday's open house at the Arc to see detailed maps of the I-70 in 63 project. NTSB releasing a 2-page preliminary report about the deadly June collision between an Amtrak passenger train and a dump truck in northeast Missouri's Sheraton County. NTSB says their investigation is ongoing at this time. Crash killing several train passengers, 3 of them a dump truck driver as well. More than 150 others were injured. And some Columbia homeowners and the Mid-Missouri Radio Control Association are having a dispute over remote-controlled airplanes.
It is illegal for unmanned flight units, such as planes or drones, to fly over homes, but the residents of Southwest Columbia Longview neighborhood are reporting that planes have been flying over their properties. As a result, Columbia staff and councilperson Nick Foster met at the MMRCA flying field for a tour and demonstration. The MMRCA members strongly indicate that they don't fly over homes, and city staff is recommending that they proceed to honor a previous agreement made in 2012 that allows them to use a portion of city-owned land to fly remote-control airplanes for recreational purposes. Staff suggests that these planes or drones may be coming from other locations, or that a plane flying 300 to 400 feet high may only appear to be over a house. Rachel Romney, Zimmer News Network.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Our news brought to you by the Candy Factory in downtown Columbia. Learn more at thecandyfactoryonline.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:07. In sports, the Cardinals returning to action today. First time in 6 days. They open a 3-game series with the Reds, Cincinnati's Great American Ballpark. First pitch at 5:40 right here on 93.9 The Eagle. Adam Wainwright going for win number 7 on the year. St. Louis 50-44 heading into the second half of the season. That will start today. Half game behind Milwaukee, National League Central Division. Kansas City hosting Tampa Bay tonight at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch is at 7:10. If you're heading to Kauffman Hoffman for the game. Weather could be a factor. It's going to be a hot one even in the evening. Mike Matheny's Royals coming into the second half right now 36-56, so they're 20 games under 500, 13 games behind the Twins in first place. The Twins are in the American League Central Division. Sports brought to you by Steve's Pest Control, stevespestcontrol.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:08. All right, John, thank you. Weather brought to you by Steve's Pest Control. Right now, partly sunny, 73. 709 93.9 The Eagle, 93.9theeagle.com. Traffic, midmohires.com. Local companies looking for local people, midmohires.com. Roads quiet in mid-Missouri. If you'd like to report a traffic issue, give us a call. We're available at 573-874-9390. I'm Brian Houseworth, 93.9 The Eagle. Grab my note in there real quick.
Not Brandon Rathert, but Stephanie Bell sitting in for Brandon Rathert. I'm joined by producer Hannah.
Good morning.
And Brian Houseworth. We are having a fun Feel Good Friday. We are celebrating by wearing red today. Hannah, why do we always wear red on Fridays?
We wear red to remember everyone deployed.
So if you haven't left your house today and you want to join us, throw on a red shirt. And if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can see that none of us forgot to wear our red today. Knock on wood.
Yes.
Yes. So we were Brian and I have been talking today. We've had a lot of goings on in mid-Missouri. 2 big events last night that we'll be covering. There was a big Ready event down in Hartsburg at Eagle Knoll. There was also a big MoDOT event talking about that 73. Need more coffee. 60-73 interchange. You know what interchange I'm talking about. Everyone has been frustrated by that interchange.
Would that be the 63-70?
Is that what did I do it wrong again?
Said 73-60.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Anyway, so lots of good things happening and good things coming, hopefully, with that interchange in mid-Missouri. Another good thing that is going on, I think, in mid-Missouri is the Southern Boone schools. My kids go there. I'm a big fan, but not without a little news lately. And so before we bring on Matt Sharp, I have to say there was some news at Southern Boone last week. The superintendent was placed on leave. At the time, the school district said no additional information will be provided. My understanding is no additional information will be provided. By the number of texts I got on that day, I know you all want to know more information. I'm sure everybody does. But the school district doesn't have any more information on that, but they've got a lot of other stuff going on, including this middle school construction project that I think everyone's hoping wraps up right before school starts. So welcome into the show, Matt.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for allowing some time to share everything going on with the Southern Boone School District.
Right. So give us the latest on this middle school project. I have a particular interest because my son will be starting there in August, and I got the tour, and it was still majorly under construction in April. So I saw some new pictures this week. Where are we at on that?
Yeah, it's amazing all the progress that has been able to, be completed, and work continues over the summer. And really, it's kind of the finishing touches are being put on this project. And it's kind of a two-phase project. Now, there's the addition, which is going to include a lot of great new things, but there's also the renovation work of the 2 existing buildings for the middle school. You have the north building and the south building. And so with the addition, really, it's just those finishing touches are being done inside the building. Cabinets and countertops are being installed in the classrooms. The flooring is going down. New furniture and supplies are arriving for the rooms. And so you're starting to kind of get that, that final touch, that final feel of the new addition. I toured it, the new addition, a week ago today, and it's just amazing all the work that they've been able to get done this summer. And, there's not going to be any issues. I mean, this new addition, the middle school will be ready to go for August, and kind of looking at the start of the school year in September, and kind of looking at the timeline. Teachers will be able to get into their classrooms the middle of August. We'll have middle school open house. That's scheduled for Tuesday, August 30th, and then there will be student orientation for 5th grade and 6th grade students on Thursday, September 1st, and then the first day of school for the middle school and the entire Southern Boone School District will be on Tuesday, September 6th.
So you mentioned open house for the 5th and 6th graders. So as part of this middle school construction plan, the 5th graders will move from the elementary. Before it was 3rd through 5th at elementary. Now 5th grade will go up to the middle school. And I know I heard a lot of concern amongst parents of, do I really want my 5th grader in a building with 8th graders? Are you still and I haven't really had a chance to really look at the research on that, if that's a good segment to have together or not. What are you guys hearing from parents? What are you doing to prepare for that transition to ease parents' minds?
Well, of course, I think anytime a student moves from one building to a new building, there's going to be concerns, there's going to be questions. I mean, it's new for the students, and so with this transition from moving the 5th grade from our current elementary school to the middle school, this plan has been in the works for the last couple of years for the school district, and so our middle school staff, they've been working with the 5th grade teachers to prepare everyone for this transition, and so looking at kind of the middle school map. All of the 5th grade teachers are going to be kind of located in one area of the school, the what we'll call the south building in one of the wings, and so of course 5th grade students will have some of the special or elective classes in other parts of the building, but for the most part they're going to be kind of located in one area as well. And one reason with this transition, the middle school hosted a open house or kind of an orientation for the incoming 5th graders last spring, and then there'll also be the opportunity for the open house and student orientation. That way, the parents and the students can get comfortable and kind of know where everything is. And luckily, with the orientation and the open house, the whole building will be open and everybody will get a good feel of where everything is and just have that good feeling heading into the upcoming school year.
Matt, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us on Wake Up Columbia. Of course, voters approved the bond issue was $7.7 million back in April of 2021 for the middle school construction project. I know there's been a lot of talk about what's going on inside, cabinets and countertops and the new flooring, very exciting, and a lot of growth in that district. But outside, new sidewalks and a driveway have been poured in front of the new middle school addition. Describe for us what that looks like in terms of how it looks like there and where that's going to be at the school.
Yeah, just looking at this new entrance for the middle school, it looks great. I mean, the former or the current entrance, there was a couple doors and that was about it. Mm-hmm. But, there's this new kind of teardrop circle drive where this new addition is being, constructed and where it's been built between the two existing buildings. And so, this is going to also help with safety and security because before students were having to walk between the two buildings, between the north and the south building, and also across the street to the ag building. With this new addition connecting these two buildings together, students aren't going to have to leave the building at all. And so that's going to help with, just the safety and security of the students. But yeah, it's going to look really nice with this main entrance, a brand new office area in this addition. There's also the media center or library and also additional classrooms as well. And so, yeah, the construction crews, they finished the sidewalk, the curbs, and also the new driveway, which has been poured over the last couple weeks for this the new entrance, which is part of this addition.
Matt, if I could follow up, just one quick follow-up question. That's about the enrollment trends, because Ashland Southern Boone R1 has been one of the fastest-growing districts here in mid-Missouri and continues to be. If you've got any numbers on any enrollment trends, I know it's probably early on that. And two, to highlight that, this project also literally includes converting the current office into additional classrooms. How's that going to work?
Yeah, so what's happening right now, and not only turning the current or the existing office into classrooms, but also the former media center into a couple of classrooms and storage area as well. And actually, whenever I went onto that tour last week, they had already kind of demoed the former media center and already had the steel steel beams and walls up, and so a lot of progress is being made there. So with the new additions and the new rooms in the new addition, that's opening up some new classrooms in the existing buildings as well. As far as enrollment, that's one thing I looked at. Last report we received back in May of earlier this year, we're closing in on around 1,900 students when it comes to enrollment, and so and that number is always increasing as well with these new subdivisions that are being built in Ashland. Our enrollment is continuing to climb, which is great, and that's one of the reasons why we're transitioning fifth grade to the middle school is to allow more room for classrooms with the existing grades in the elementary, as that wave of increased enrollment, which began in the primary in our primary school and has moved into the elementary school, and now that increased enrollment now moving into the middle school.
So I have a personal question for you, because this is like a new role at Southern Boone. You're the public relations director. Before you, there really wasn't a PIO or public relations director, from my understanding. So how has it been a year or more?
It has.
And so how has that role taken shape, and how has it been what you expected, and how do you foresee it shaping in the future?
Yeah, so whenever I started with the school district back in August of last year, this was not only a new position for me, but it was also a brand new position for the school district as well. And, over time, we've seen more and more school districts create this type of position. I was kind of thinking back. Back in the old days, for us, communication was, a typed out letter on a piece of paper that our teacher would put in our backpack to send home to our parents. With technology and everything else, communication has changed so much. And so there's so many different ways to keep parents updated, and not only parents, but also district patrons and the community as well, with everything going on. And, and then you have the website, you have the app, you have social media. And so it really kind of takes one person to kind of handle that, and not only handle that, but help in other areas as well. If it's, helping with communication with, each of the buildings, or some of the different, departments, from activities and athletics and everything else. And so you're seeing more and more school districts create this position, because, these days it's more than just sending a letter home with updates and information to parents. There's everything else with the advancement with technology.
Well, I know I, for one, have really appreciated the increase I've seen on the social media sites for Southern Boone, keeping us updated of everything that is going on. So thank you for your work, and I look forward to following along all of the updates and changes at Southern Boone coming up. So we appreciate you joining us, Matt.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for the time.
Mm-hmm. Coming up, we will have next hour, we will be talking small business development. Really excited to talk to the Missouri Women's Business Center. But right after, coming up at 7, hopefully. Am I on time, Hannah? 7:25-ish, we will do What's Hot with Hannah. What's hot with Hannah today?
Well, there's some beef that was started in a Missouri town with some billboards.
Ooh. Really, Henry, I'm offended. This is Stephanie Bell, and your favorite show should be Wake Up Columbia.
Those dang Ratherts always stirring stuff up.
I know. Well, good thing we don't have to deal with one of them today, right? Brandon has the day off, and so this is Stephanie Bell sitting in for Brandon. We are about to hear What's Hot with Hannah. It's 7:25-ish, which means it's
7:27.
Oh, sorry.
What happened?
I know.
It was going so well.
So close.
Have you ever heard of Marshfield, Missouri?
Yes. Why have I
Wait,
heard
you
of...
have?
Yeah, why have I heard
I was
of that?
fully expecting you to say no. It's down in the Springfield area.
Okay.
And they have gone viral this week because some of their local restaurants got into a sign war.
Ooh, I love these.
So have you seen how like Wendy's and McDonald's will like roast each other on Twitter all the time?
Yes.
They basically took that and tried to apply it to Marshfield, Missouri, and it worked. So McDonald's started the sign war in Marshfield. Said, hey, Dairy Queen, want to have a sign war? I guess it was Dairy Queen, not Wendy's. So, hey, DQ, want to have a sign war? Dairy Queen said, we would, but we're too busy making ice cream. Basically a jab at the fact that, you know, it's like a running joke. McDonald's never has a working ice cream machine.
Right.
So McDonald's responds and says, that's cute. Our ice cream makes itself. So they just keep going back and forth, and like a realty company got in, and it says, sign war, we're just here for the show. And there's a Mexican restaurant that chimed in. Like the whole town basically started getting in on this sign war.
I love that. That is so funny. And I love watching the restaurants roast each other on Twitter.
Wendy's especially.
They are spicy.
They are, and it's hilarious, and I am here for it.
That is so fun in small town Missouri. I think when you can have some fun and, you know, promote your business at the same time, it's a really good thing. We have a lot of other Feel Good Friday topics coming up. We've got one, Zimmer is a big supporter of the Children's Miracle Network. We do a radiothon every year, and another local organization raised some big money for Children's Miracle Network. We'll be talking to someone about that event, and then coming up, we'll be talking about small business development in the 8 o'clock hour. You are listening to 93.9 The Eagle.
If you're having a problem with ants, mosquitoes, or any other type of pest, don't worry because you have a friend in the pest control business, Steve's Pest Control. Find them online at stevespestcontrol.com and get your problem solved today.
.939 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. It is 7:31. Robinson saves you time. Right now in mid-Missouri, we do have partly sunny skies. We continue to warm up, and we've got a heat advisory that will kick in today at noon. 74 is our current temperature. Good morning. I'm Brian Houseworth. Here's some of the stories we are working on for you at this hour. And again, we're expecting a high today of about 102 degrees. So be very careful as you head out and about today. A construction company owner who is seeking the GOP nomination for Boone County presiding commissioner, says she would have supported the late prosecutor Dan Knight's request for 3 additional prosecutors. County commissioners rejecting Mr. Knight's request earlier this year. Quality drywall construction owner Connie Leopard telling Wake Up Columbia the bedrock of our community is infrastructure and public safety.
Those are the things that absolutely the prosecutor needs the resources he needs or she needs to run the department in the way that they know needs to happen for the citizens of Boone County.
The assistant prosecutors in Boone County each handle about 450 to 500 cases. Ms. Leopard is facing contractor James Pounds in the August primary election. The winner will face former state representative Kip Kendrick in November. Meantime, Columbia area residents packing the Arc here in Columbia to view detailed maps of a proposed $140 million upgrade at I-70 and 63 yesterday. Big turnout. That pleases MoDOT's Brandy Baldwin.
What we're doing today is we're showing you some options, right? So we want your feedback on that over the next couple months. Then we'll fine-tune that and then come back to the public and show here's what we heard from you and here's what we see as the preferred alternative.
And Governor Parson declares a drought alert for Boone, Cole, Cooper, and 50 other counties. News time, 7:33. In sports, it's been a while since we've had Cardinal baseball here on 93.9 The Eagle. The Cardinals are returning to action today. First time in 6 days. They'll open a 3-game series with the Reds at Great American Ballpark. 5:40 the first pitch here on 93.9 The Eagle. Adam Wainwright going for win number 7 on the year. St. Louis 50-44 heading into the second half. Half game behind Milwaukee in the National League Central Division. Royals hosting Tampa Bay coming up tonight at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch is at 7:10. Royals are in last place in the American League Central Division. They're 13 games back behind the Twins in their division. Again, we will have baseball for you. Cardinal baseball here on the Eagle. It will cut into Dr. Tolboy's show, 5:40 the first pitch today. Our sports brought to you by Missouri Heart Center. Comprehensive cardiovascular care in the heart of Missouri. MoHeartCenter.com. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 7:34. Traffic check, midmohires.com. Local companies looking for local people. Midmohires.com. Find a job, post your job opening today. Roads are pretty quiet here in mid-Missouri. If you'd like to report a traffic issue, you can give us a call or a text, 573-874-9390. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Houseworth, 93.9 The Eagle.
This is Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rathert. You're listening to Wake Up Columbia. We are celebrating a Feel Good Friday. You know, the news, going to the pump, going to the grocery store, you know, my everyday, day-to-day has got me feeling down. So I love a Feel Good Friday on Wake Up Columbia because we can talk about some fun stuff. Hannah, what has you feeling good this week?
So this week, my fiance and I, we booked our first 2 vendors.
Oh, good.
For
Awesome.
our wedding next year. So things are like really moving now, I feel like. So we have a place to get married at, and we booked a photographer. So I'm really excited to kind of cross some things off the list.
Yeah, those dates fill up fast, and now you have to be on top of it.
Yeah.
So did you find that when you called, there was a lot of like already bookings in the next year?
Yeah, so especially with the photographer, I was shocked because I was like, you know, next fall, like that's over a year away. We won't have any problem if I go ahead and schedule something now. And I can't even count how many emails I got back from photographers that we were looking at that said that they were already booked. And I was really surprised by that.
Well, congratulations on having some of those things crossed off the list. And we get to celebrate Cousin Andy's wedding this weekend, right?
We
so
do,
that's very exciting in the Zimmer world. Lots of good happenings. Brian, what has you feeling good this week?
Well, we're finally seeing some movement on I-70 and 63, and that's been a big project, Stephanie, for years. Here in Columbia. It's been tough to get the funding. I know Patrick McKenna in 2017, I covered a meeting right here in town, and at the time he said it would cost $250 million to do the interchange. they're actually going to do it for about 140. It won't include everything, obviously, that everybody wants, but at least they'll try to do it. They may be able to get 30 to 40 million, but that's a big deal for the community. So we'll see. But construction probably at the earliest, not until 2024. So still some time.
Feeling good about that. Well, I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege because today is actually Mr. Bell's 40th birthday.
Happy
so.
birthday.
Oh, yay.
Happy birthday to Chris.
And it's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 40. So
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I know. And I was thinking about it last night, and I remember having like my first big girl job, and I was working with what I considered adults. I was 21, and someone was having a 30th birthday, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, at 30, that's so old. And you have like your life figured out. And I just remember that moment, like being like, all these people are real adults at 30. And now I'm thinking 40 is totally the new 30, I think. Maybe that's just because I'm getting closer to 40. What do you think?
Yeah, my fiance just turned 26, and he's like, man, this sucks, because, of course, you have to, like, figure out new insurance and all that fun stuff. They say, 25 is the last good birthday? Is that what they always say?
Oh, no.
I think there's many more after that. Yeah.
I'm hopeful there are. I'm on my way up. But, yeah, so happy birthday to Mr. Bell. If you have any advice on turning 40 and not feeling old, that'd be great.
Happy birthday.
Brian, I wanted to get your reaction. You know, we've been talking a lot about MoDOT, and I know we've mentioned, I've been seeing some articles recently this week about the gas tax, and I think the headlines are coming out, thousands apply for the gas tax refund. And from my reading, they started taking the refund claims July 1. I think you have until September 30 to turn them in. And when they say thousands of people, I think it's 2,500 people have turned their receipts in so far, which is nothing, right?
With 6 million people or whatever that live in Missouri ballpark. I mean, it's one of those things. It can be complex. It's time consuming, obviously. But Wayne Wallingford joined us, and maybe we need to get him back on the air at some point. The director of revenue, former state representative. But there is some. It's kind of a manual, if you will, that kind of helps you on dor.mo.gov. But Stephanie, you can pull that up on your computer at some point. It's written, I think, as easy as they can do it. It's still a little complex to understand it. And I know Revenue's doing the best they can on that, but then people have to have time, and they don't want you to mail the receipts. He made that very clear. They don't have enough room, obviously, to do that. They really don't want that. But what stuck out to me when we talked to Wallingford, the director of revenue, is he all but said this is kind of on the honor system, that unless something, in other words, if there's a mistake of some kind, they'll get in touch. But they really are relying on people to be honest about this.
And something, I've been interested in it because I'm thinking, how much did the state think it was going to get in income from the new tax versus how much was going to be refunded? And as you know, with every piece of legislation, they're required to have a fiscal note, and they update that with the projections from what they think it might be. And so in looking at 2023, and when Brandon's gone, I love to nerd out. So I'm going to take 5 minutes and nerd out on numbers for a minute.
Nerd.
I know.
Nerd.
But in 2023, they said we probably will get about $150 million from the motor fuel tax collected. And then for potential refunds, they said it could be $11 million to almost $80 million. That's a huge swing. So you would subtract those refunds off of that 150. So either we're going to get half of that amount, we would get, 75, or we get 140. That's a huge swing. And as the tax increases, that swing gets more. And in reading through that fiscal note, they estimated, and the way they got that was they kind of came up with a low refund amount and a high refund amount. And so the low refund amount was 15% of people eligible would submit a refund, and then the high was 100%. Now, you don't see 100% reflected in those numbers because it only applies to vehicles under 26,000. I don't know. It only applies to like passenger vehicles, so it wouldn't be the full amount. But still, so they were saying the low refund amount would be 15% of everyone who basically drives a regular car. Now, how many people are in Missouri? 6 million people.
Ballpark, and that's yes.
And 15% of 6 million is a lot, right?
It is, and it all really depends on how many people take the time. Your numbers are spot on there. Two points on that. Number one, those fiscal notes and those fiscal projections, and the House and Senate do their own every year on the budgets, and sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low. they try to forecast out, and when we've had recessions, they tend to be very, think things are rosy, not necessarily. Hard to really predict. But the last couple of years, they've actually estimated low, and the revenues have jumped up. So it is hard to do that. It's hard to really know exactly what's going to happen. Record amount of money in the bank, by the way, for the state. I'll have some details on that at the top of the hour. But this really boils down to people going into this system and entering the data, and it's called a MyTax portal. And I'd be curious if people look it up. It's dor.mo.gov. I'm not an attorney. I'm certainly not a tax person. I find it to be a little complex.
Sure.
I do. And Wayne Wallingford says it's not. I certainly have nothing but the highest respect for him. But it is a little confusing. It is.
It is. I mean, my point is, I think we're just going to way over collect, and not in a, but I think the projections were low, because if they said the lowest refund amount was 15%, if we assume 3 million people, half of people have a passenger car, 15% of that is that 450,000 people would submit their receipts. We're a third of the way through the period for allowable receipts, and we've got 2,500 people submitting receipts. We're not going to get to 450,000. Right. And so we're going to be on that way high end of collections for motor fuel tax. And so, I feel like we're going to be flush with cash on that gas tax amount.
And that is something Representative Sarah Walsh pointed out. She kind of predicted that this would happen, that not a lot of people would apply, that they really don't need the money right now because of the record revenue. Now, we'll see what happens. The governor obviously supported the gas tax and still does. By the same token, the governor has basically called a special session for later in the year. He wants the largest tax cut in history, but that would be more on the tax end, income tax end, as opposed to this. The governor does still support the gas tax. So unless the governor changes his position, I can't imagine he would. That was his priority, one of them, this gas tax. It'll stay in effect. But you're right, barring something unforeseen and the huge jump, the numbers just don't look like they're a lot. But it could. It could. And again, Wayne Wallingford, I think the one thing he pointed out as well, he said their staff is there to help. Their website is pretty good in that there are phone numbers to call, and then you can click to. There's somebody named Dora here. I have no idea who it says, "Hi, I'm Dora. How can I help?" I guess you click on that.
Chatbot.
Dora can help you with your gas tax thing. But it is it's for people that don't normally do taxes, myself included. It is a little complex.
Well, yeah, and I think I'm not going to be the only one watching, I hope, and nerding out when this period closes to kind of compare the numbers to what we were told this thing was going to collect and how much people were going to refund and what actually happened. So that, again, I think you have until September 30th, but I do think there's going to be a lot more money there than originally anticipated. We want to go to the phone lines here. We've got David telling us what he's feeling good about this Friday. Welcome, David. David, are you there? Well, David, it sounds like you've got a bad connection. If you get into a better spot, feel free to give us a call. We are also getting some texts in of your Shakespeare's cups. I had a friend post, "Are you even from Mid-Mo if you don't have at least one Shakespeare's cup?" I know that I have a bunch in my cabinets. There are just those things that are iconic about Mid-Mo. So if there's something iconic about Columbia, text us and let us know. Also, if you've got something else, Hannah said, if you're from California, you likely have some Burger Smokehouse in your house, but I think that's such a fun thing that immediately, if you were to open someone's cabinet, even outside of Columbia, and you saw that Shakespeare's cup, you'd think Columbia. I love that. Coming right up, we are going to be talking to some local folks about some big money raised for a charity and an organization near and dear to the heart of folks here at Wake Up Columbia. You're listening to 93.9 The Eagle. Just wanted to give a shout out to High Limit Productions Foundation today. As all of the Wake Up Columbia family knows, we do a Children's Miracle Network radiothon here at Zimmer every year, and it's an organization really near and dear to our hearts here. But these folks, one of our listeners told us that there were about 8 small town folks put together a truck and tractor pull in Paris, Missouri to raise money, and they raised over $70,000 with a tractor pull.
Wow.
Yeah, for Children's Miracle Network. How great is that?
That's awesome.
We're always talking about getting involved and doing something. And so to see people, local folks, coming together to support the Children's Miracle Network, which helps so many people right here in mid-Missouri and provides needed services, I think is amazing. And so I love watching that, seeing that, and giving folks a shout out for their great work. So they have a Facebook page, High Limit Productions Foundation, if you want to find out more about their upcoming events. But apparently they have raised $160,000 in just 3 events. So it's incredible.
That is crazy. And you said it was, what, 8 people?
Yeah, that's it. I think it started with about 8 folks.
That's crazy.
They have a lot of sponsors and a lot of support from the community, just like we get every year with the Radiothon. We know this community is so generous and giving and steps up all the time, and that's just one more example of folks coming together.
And I don't know how familiar you are with Paris, Missouri, but
I know
it is tiny. It's like 1,500 people, maybe.
Which is bigger, Marshall? What was it, Marshall?
Marshfield?
Marshfield or Paris?
Hold that thought. Let me GTS.
Okay, well, some other kind of big news that I think is flying under the radar for mid-Missouri. So, everyone's watching the primary. We're 11 days out now, I believe. But what people aren't necessarily paying a lot of attention to is if Scott Fitzpatrick gets elected, right? Then the governor would get an appointment for the state treasurer. And also, if Eric Schmidt were to get the nomination and get elected, the governor would appoint a new attorney general. And so people are really starting to talk about who might fill those spots. And some mid-Missouri names have been circling in the rumor mill, getting reported about who might fill those spots. Some folks are suggesting that for treasurer, Caleb Rowden's name was kind of thrown out there as someone who the governor could consider appointing treasurer. The other person was Kalina Bruce. She's a CPA. She's in that 4th congressional district and close with the governor. The governor actually, I think, endorsed her in that race. And if for some reason she doesn't win that race, people are saying, hey, maybe she would be a good fit for the treasurer spot if Fitzpatrick gets elected. Do you have an answer for me on which is bigger?
Marshfield is much bigger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Marshfield's population in 2020 was 7,400.
Okay. And
Paris was 1,500.
1,500. Well,
Yeah.
That's fun. It's kind of like Ashland. We've got the rodeo coming up, and I will, it's very nice of Ashland to plan the rodeo for my birthday.
They do it in your honor, right?
Right. Every year on my birthday or really close, we have the rodeo, but it's back this year for the first time. And I think it took 2 years off. So we've been away for 3 years, but I'm always amazed because Ashland is so small, but that rodeo is huge. So I suspect the tractor pull in Paris, Missouri brought out, a huge crowd from all the surrounding towns as well. So back to these appointments. So we talked a little bit about the treasurer appointment. Also, people are starting to talk about who might get appointed as attorney general if Eric Schmidt were to get elected to the U.S. Senate. And one name that seems to be rising to the top is Kurt Schaefer. And so, who is very familiar to folks around here from Columbia, served as a state senator, ran for attorney general, now in private practice as an attorney. But a lot of folks are kind of throwing his name out as someone the governor might consider appointing to the attorney general. So I just think that's really interesting that so many mid-Mo names are floating around for statewide office. I think that'd be a great thing for mid-Missouri to get more representation on the statewide level.
Now, with of course, the highly contested Senate race or Senate primary coming up, have you figured out who you're going to vote for yet?
For the U.S. Senate?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of us here on the show, we're kind of between like a couple or a few candidates, and I still haven't decided on my one yet.
Have you been talking to like your family members and your fiance? Are they decided?
No, they're not either.
Really? Yeah. 11 days out.
It's not very helpful that they're not decided.
It's going to be a game time decision.
I know. It might be like a eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I mean, I know there's a couple I know I'm not going to vote for.
Sure.
So it might just be like a close my eyes and pick.
No, Hannah, no. But are you the same in the 4th congressional district race? You're not decided in that one either?
Oh, no, I know who I'm going to vote for in that one.
Okay. Yeah, I in my mind, because I do know a lot of people who are undecided, and now 11 days out, I wonder what's going to be, not the straw that breaks the camel's back, but what's the deciding factor? Is it, we're seeing a lot of endorsements, and there's still rumors. I saw one on Twitter yesterday that Trump might make an endorsement in the U.S. Senate race. Is it the ads? And is it the positive ads that the candidates are running themselves, or are the negative ads, more influential? What is out there that is influencing people? If you have a thought, you can text us at 874-9390. What in the next 11 days might persuade you toward one candidate or another if you are undecided currently? I think that's a really interesting question. For me, I don't know that endorsements make a difference. Do they make a difference for you, Hannah?
Not really.
Yeah. So tell us what would make a difference in your mind. Tell us what is an iconic Columbia thing that we might find in your home. Tell us what you're feeling good about this Friday.
93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. It is 8:03 and Robinson saves you time. We are expecting another warm day here in mid-Missouri. Sunny today, our high around 102 degrees, and that will not be the heat index. A heat advisory will kick in. The good news, if there is good news, is we have a chance of rain on Sunday afternoon into the evening, Monday and Tuesday as well. Already warming up. 77 right now here in Columbia at 76 degrees in Jefferson City. Good morning, everyone. And here, I'm Brian Houseworth. Here are some of the stories we are working on for you at this hour. I want to start with a traffic note. We've had a couple of texts. Hannah, our producer, has had a couple of texts from motorists who are stuck in traffic right now eastbound I-70 near Midway in the Sorrells overpass. I've been on the phone with Joint Communications for the last 10 minutes. They can tell from their cameras that there is a traffic backup. Maybe construction, could be traffic coming in for the Show Me State games as well, or a combination, but there appears to be some construction going on in that area. And if you're in there, let us know. If there is construction going on, MoDOT has not let us know about that. Whoever would be doing the construction has not let us know about it, because the traffic is going to be very heavy coming through there today with the Show Me State games coming in. So again, traffic apparently backed up eastbound I-70 near Midway, but authorities unclear right now about what is causing that traffic to back up. If you're stuck out there, give us a call, 874-9390. Mid-Missouri's Boone, Cole, Cooper, Howard, Miller counties are just some of the counties named by Governor Parson in his executive order declaring a drought alert. The governor describing Missouri farmers as a critical resource for our state. MDA Director Chris Chin at Agriculture says in many areas there is no pasture.
Today, almost 75% of Missouri is in a drought, with 35% experiencing severe to extreme drought. Basically, the entire southern half of Missouri is in a drought condition.
Missouri Soil and Water Conservation Commission has called a special meeting for Monday. They'll consider assistance to farmers and ranchers. DNR will assess state park areas that can be made available for haying. National Weather Service urging mid-Missourians to stay hydrated again today and to wear light-colored clothing. Temperatures in Columbia and Jefferson City expected to hit 102 today. National Weather Service meteorologist Jerred Maples in St. Louis telling 93.9 The Eagle the next chances for rain in mid-Missouri late Sunday afternoon or evening, again Monday or Tuesday. The good news, he says, a front could stall that could even bring more rainfall to the area. No rain today, certainly none on Saturday as well. State transportation officials say a diverging Dement interchange is one possibility for Columbia's outdated I-70-63 interchange, the busiest interchange here in central Missouri. MoDOT Project Director Brandy Baldwin explains how a diverging Dement works.
If you're making a left-hand turn, you're going to go stay tight on the left-hand side and cross over that way. And that just keeps traffic moving a little quicker. So you're not crossing over lanes of traffic. We're actually moving the lanes of traffic to where they're closer to the most frequent movements.
Now, MoDOT already has a diverging Dement on I-70 and Stadium in West Columbia. Some motorists tell us it's confusing, but many others say it is not confusing. It depends on who says this. The agency is currently reevaluating the environmental impact statement for Columbia's I-70 corridor between B and Z. That is an 18-mile stretch. Missouri has more money in the bank than ever before. The Associated Press reporting this morning that Missouri has closed out its 2022 fiscal year with a general revenue balance of nearly $4.9 billion. That is billion with a B. It's more than double the previous record that was set just 1 week ago. In Columbia, St. Francis Catholic Worker House needs a variety of items to help the homeless here in Columbia deal with the heat. They're asking the public if they can help them for sunscreen, bug spray, bottled water, and cream for sunburns or bug bites. You can drop off donations anytime between 7 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. St. Francis House is here in Columbia. They serve a lot of our homeless population, including a lot of veterans. If you can help them, you can drop those off 901 Range Line here in Columbia. Our news in this 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by First State Community Bank. Discovery Parkway, they're building a new branch there. Every new account gives $50 back to a local charity. You keep banking, they'll keep building. First State Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. 93.9 The Eagle News Time, 8:07. In sports, Cardinals returning to action today. First time in 6 days when they open a 3-game series with the Reds at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. First pitch right here on 93.9 The Eagle. Your home for Cardinal baseball, 540. Adam Wainwright going for win number 7 on the year. The Cardinals just a half game behind Milwaukee in the National League Central Division. Royals hosting Tampa Bay tonight at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch is at 7:10. The Royals 36 and 56. And between this weekend and next week, a combined 40,000 visitors expected to be in Columbia. A lot of them coming in for this weekend, many others for next week. And those numbers, projections coming from our mayor, Barbara Buffalo, who I interviewed this week for a story. The opening ceremony is tonight at Mizzou Arena at 7 o'clock. They're expecting a pretty good crowd for that as well. That will include the Parade of Athletes. And our mayor is asking everyone to be very welcoming to the visitors coming into the community. A lot of them are arriving right now as we speak. Sports brought to you by Anderson Windows. Anderson, truly custom replacement windows and patio doors. Our news time, 8:09. All right, John, thank you. Great work on television this morning with Megan, as always. Right now, it is partly sunny, 78. Traffic check, midmohires.com. Local companies are looking for local people. Midmohires.com to post your job opening or to find a job. You can do that. Right now, the big issue that we're hearing from a couple listeners is I-70, Sorrells Overpass, eastbound lanes. And I've been on the phone with Joint Communications, and there looks like possibly some work going on, maybe some construction. There's no accident or crash to report in that area, but it is backed up right now at the Sorrells Overpass. So be careful. Give yourself some extra time. Several listeners saying the traffic is jammed in that location. So be careful if you're in that area and give yourself some extra time. I'm Brian Houseworth, 93.9 The Eagle. Stephanie.
Not Brandon Rathert, but Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rathert today, joined by Hannah, the producer, and Brian Houseworth. We are back. We are having a slight traffic issue. If you were over in that area and could give us a text on I-70 near Midway, it sounds like we're a little bit unsure, but the traffic is definitely congested.
So Mike just called in,
okay,
and he said that they are replacing some of the signs that tell you what exit is up ahead, and because they have the trucks out there, people are moving over to the left. So that's kind of causing a little bit of a jam and for things to slow down.
Okay. Thanks for the update, Mike.
That's good to know. Yeah, we were not aware, and even Joint Communications wasn't totally aware of that. Yeah, hopefully they can get that done quickly because we got a lot of folks coming into town today for the Show Me State games, and maybe that's directly related to that. But that's good information. That's very good.
Yes, we will keep an eye on that. And again, if you're in that area and can give us a quick text at 874-9390. Let us know what's going on. Brandon had sent me this article, and I thought it was really interesting. It said Missouri has the 6th most female business owners in the U.S. And not that I wasn't shocked, because I am a business owner, and I know a lot of other female business owners, but I thought, go Missouri. That's really great. And, we were talking about here locally, who might be able to tell us a little bit more about that and what resources are available for people in small business. And so in full disclosure, I sit on the board of the Missouri Women's Business Center, but they have a new director, and we are going to welcome her to the show. Jayme Dement Prenger is here from the Missouri Women's Business Center, and I wanted to welcome you in, Jayme, and ask you, for those of folks who aren't familiar with the Missouri Women's Business Center, what's it all about?
Good morning, and thank you so much for having us. Yeah, the Missouri Women's Business Center has been around for about 6 years now. we're dedicated to providing small business development assistance to aspiring women. We focus on minority and low to moderate income-based entrepreneurs throughout central Missouri.
So do you help only women, or do you expand beyond that?
We absolutely anyone can use our services. That's just our focus is definitely with women, and just building them up and really supporting them and coaching them as they begin businesses or as they're trying to grow their business.
So what specific resources and programs do you offer through the Women's Business Center?
Absolutely. So we have coaching, and so that can go ongoing. You can do that as you begin and start up, or you can do that as, maybe you have a business and you're trying to expand, or, you're struggling right now with some things. And so, I know staffing across the board is hard for everyone. So as you need help with that and you need guidance, we can continue that coaching. We have training, and then special events that just recognize the achievement of women in our communities.
And so if, I think a lot of people could utilize the services, how is the whole program funded?
So we are grant funded. We are a program of Central Missouri Community Action, and we are, solely grant funded, and, we have sponsorships that local businesses will support us through to help us, be able to bring those special events and recognize the women in our community.
So can you tell us a little bit about maybe a few businesses that you all have coached or helped recently? We have a lot of businesses that are here in Columbia, and they are, we're working with, just a few people like Pasta La Fata, Shelly at Pasta La Fata. She's a great example of someone who has worked super hard. She comes in for her coaching sessions each week. She listens to the guidance of her coach, Sarah, and she really just has built such a strong foundation, and we have enjoyed watching her grow. And if you haven't stopped by to see her, everybody needs to. So they just opened a brick and mortar facility, is that right?
That is correct. That's correct.
And tell us more about the business itself. What's she doing at Pasta La Fata?
So she, it's a restaurant filled. It's the mainly takeout. I know she has a few seats in there, but she started out in the community kitchen that the Loop and Ready have put together. She started there. It's on right there on Walnut Street, across from the post office, and she started in there and just trying to do some catering and trying to do, some orders and things like that, and she really started seeing the support and the love of our community. So she was able to bring some of her dreams to life with hard work. And, I know she's working with Sarah on a continual basis just to continue to grow that and work with her staff and train them and all the things.
So although you're located in Columbia, what area do you actually serve?
So we serve 8 counties in central Missouri, so Audrain, Boone, Callaway, Cole, Cooper, Howard, Montauk, and Osage. We have coaches in all of those areas, and we're, of course, with virtual experiences now, we're able to coach anyone, anywhere.
So if I'm a person looking for some help, and I've either got an idea or I've already got a business and I need, just some consulting, how do I get involved?
You can always visit our website, which is mowbc.org. You can give us a call at 573-818-2980 or shoot us an email at info@mowbc.org.
Can you talk a little bit more? Because I think one of the first things I got to experience, in person, hands-on with the Women's Business Center was Launch You. And I got to go to one of the sessions, and that's something you all have been doing for a while. I know you did one down in Jefferson City, and it's kind of moved around. Can you talk about what Launch You is?
Yeah, absolutely. We're super proud of this program. Like you said, we've been doing it for several years now. And this year, Launch You begins on August 17th. And so if anyone's interested in this, give us a shout and we'll get you signed up for that. It's sponsored by First State Community Bank. It's a 6-week course that teaches new and aspiring business owners how to set up a business goal, plan for marketing, make cash projections, set some pricing. There's just so much packed into that 6 weeks. But I know that at the end of it, we do a graduation, and everybody is just so excited about their progress and how much they didn't know and they've learned. It's just inspiring to watch.
And how important is it for new business owners then to connect with, other new business owners and existing business owners, in starting their business?
Oh, absolutely. So we have Tuesday mornings, we do a virtual Caffeinated Minds. And, it's sometimes it becomes, just real talk about small businesses. We always have topics to discuss and things like that. But it's just amazing to just log into that on Tuesday morning for an hour and listen to what other people are going through. And then you don't feel alone. You don't feel like you're the only one, or you don't feel like a failure, because you hear the struggles of other small businesses. And some have been in business again for many years, and others, are just starting out. So it's awesome to watch the small business owners just make connections and really feel heard during that.
Well, I think that's so helpful. And I know, so today we were talking about how someone texted or had posted, are you even from mid-Missouri if you don't have a Shakespeare's cup in your cabinet? And I think, I will occasionally go to a chain restaurant, but really it's these small businesses, right, that make a community and that make Columbia and our surrounding communities so special and give you those kind of memories and sense of place. And so I personally, I think the more businesses we can grow right here at home, the better off our community is. What should we be looking forward to for the Missouri Women's Business Center? What's next?
Well, this fall we have several opportunities to participate in. We have our annual pitch competition on October 26th. And that's going to be at Columbia College. This is something that we've done for a couple of years now, and we're just so proud of how it's grown, and we're looking forward to, listening to some small businesses pitch their ideas. And really the best part of all of that is really just being able to give them guidance and help them so that they can achieve those dreams. And then we have our Women Who Own It Awards on November 10th at Elk Park Events Center. And this is where we recognize women in all 8 of our counties who are really rock stars and doing a great job. I was just up in Mexico, Missouri this week, and that's, Audrain County, and walking around their town square, I was being introduced to all of the female small business owners there. And it was like one right after another. And it was just amazing to see, the camaraderie and the excitement that they have growing up there. And that's just one of the few small communities that we serve. So, we're in all those areas, and we look forward to helping women across the state of Missouri.
Well, there you have it. Jayme Dement Prenger with the Missouri Women's Business Center. I'm thankful for all the work that you're doing, and we just appreciate our small businesses so much. And having you right here in Columbia and serving the surrounding counties as a resource, I think, is so helpful. So check out their website, check out the Facebook page. Appreciate your work, Jayme.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Have a great day.
You too. Coming up, we've got the Morning Bell. Hannah, I saw this headline, and it was a true Hannah-ism, and I couldn't get past it. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rather today on Wake Up Columbia, and it's now time for the Morning Bell. Hannah, I saw this headline.
Ding, 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 ding. I forgot to pull up the sound effect.
It's all good. It's Friday. I saw this and I was like, did Hannah write this headline? So Amazon has acquired One Medical, which is a healthcare company, for $3.9 billion. And if you know Amazon, they do Amazon Prime, and Fox Business wrote primary care. And I thought,
oh, that's, yes.
That was very good.
I give that one 2 thumbs up.
I liked it. But again, so it got me thinking, would I use Amazon for healthcare? And I don't know. Like, I'm struggling with that. And they haven't exactly said what they plan to do, just that, their healthcare is an industry where, they think they can improve the quality of the experience for folks and, make it more accessible and use technology. Years ago, if you recall, and I can go back and see my very first Amazon purchases. And for about the first 6 months, the only thing I bought on Amazon was textbooks, because books were all you could buy on Amazon. And so if you would have told me I'm buying food, drinks, beauty products, years ago I would have said I would never buy those things online, right? Clothes, shoes.
Oh yeah.
And so right now but I'm still hesitant. I'm like, I don't know that I want my healthcare through Amazon.
Yeah, I feel like there's a certain line that has to be drawn.
But where's the line? Right before it
apparently at healthcare.
At healthcare, I don't know. Amazon's doing it's changed so many industries, but also then I think it's become such a behemoth. It's got a monopoly basically on online shopping and so many different things. So at what point other companies are being told they're too big? At what point does Amazon control our entire lives? I don't know. I heard that Prime Video this week too got a total makeover, and now it looks like Netflix. And Netflix isn't too happy about it.
That's a little sus.
I know. What's that? Flattery is like the highest form of
imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Thank you. Yes, and so that's what I think is going on. But I'm sure Netflix is like, really, Amazon, really? But apparently their video system, streaming video, was kind of clunky, and now it just magically looks exactly like Netflix.
How long before there's a lawsuit?
Probably not long. Lawyers love to get involved in stuff like this.
Dang lawyers.
That's your Morning Bell. Coming up, we are going to do winners and losers of the weeks. We've already got some really great nominations. If you've got some yourself, text us at 874-9390.
If you're having a problem with ants, mosquitoes, or any other type of pest, don't worry, because you have a friend in the pest control business, Steve's Pest Control. Find them online at stevespestcontrol.com and get your problem solved today.
.93.9 The Eagle News Time with Robinson's Cleaners. Robinson saves you time. Edie's 8:31, and we already have 79 degrees here in Columbia. Let me check that. Make sure. No, we're up to 80 degrees right now in Columbia. 81 in Jefferson City. Expecting a high today of about 102 degrees. Wind speed 6 miles an hour. It's 47% humidity. It is going to be a warm day today. Heat advisory kicking in a little bit later today. Good morning. I'm Brian Houseworth. the National Transportation Safety Board releasing a 2-page report about the deadly June collision between an Amtrak passenger train and a dump truck in northern Missouri's Sheraton County.
The NTSB says its investigation is ongoing and that they'll also look at highway railroad grade crossing design specifications and rail car design. The crash killed 3 train passengers and dump truck driver Billy Barton II. About 150 others suffered injuries. More than a dozen NTSB investigators walked the train derailment site in late June, taking numerous notes. Don Luzader, Zimmer News Network.
Meantime, Columbia area residents packing the Ark on Thursday, listening to presentations and seeing detailed maps about a $140 million upgrade at heavily traveled I-70 and Highway 63. MoDOT's Brandy Baldwin, the project director, pleased with the turnout.
What we're doing today is we're showing you some options, right? So we want your feedback on that over the next couple months. Then we'll fine-tune that and then come back to the public and show here's what we heard from you and here's what we see as the preferred alternative.
And Missouri's governor signs an executive order declaring a drought alert for 53 counties in Missouri. That includes Boone, Cole, Cooper, Howard counties as well. News brought to you by Hemi Construction at 8:33. In sports, we're going to start this hour with the Show Me State games. It's such a big deal here in Columbia. This is going to be in a couple of weeks, the 30th anniversary of President George H.W. Bush speaking here in Columbia. Some of you actually probably remember that. He spoke down the road at the Hearn Center, and there was, as I recall, there was an 85-year-old athlete from Mendon. His name was Vernon. And he was a javelin thrower. And then he had a 4-year-old up on the stage with the governor Ashcroft and President Bush as well that was a swimmer. A lot of great memories. That was 30 years ago, President Bush opening the Show Me State games. Now, no indication President Biden or any dignitaries of that magnitude will be here tonight. Sometimes people show up we don't know about. Probably not, though. We'll find out. That is going to be tonight. Opening ceremonies at the Hearn Center, 7 o'clock. 40,000 visitors expected between this weekend and next weekend in Columbia. And our Mayor Barbara Buffalo asking everyone to welcome them to town. So welcome to all our visitors heading in to the community. Cardinal baseball, they return to action tonight. First time in 6 days. They open up a series with the Reds, Great American Ballpark. First pitch right here on 93.9 The Eagle at 5:40. Adam Wainwright on the mound. Royals hosting Tampa tonight at the K. Kansas City, first pitch 7:10. Sports brought to you by Betts. Traffic check, midmohires.com. Local companies are looking for local people. Midmohires.com. Find a job. Post your job opening today. Roads are pretty quiet overall in mid-Missouri for the most part. However, we appreciate all of the calls and texts about the situation out near Midway. Little unusual. Apparently, signs being moved or removed or changed. I'm still a little confused on that. Joint Communications is as well. Whatever they're doing out there with these signs at Midway has been causing some traffic issues this morning. So we do appreciate the eastbound lanes, the information on that. More team coverage in less than 30 minutes. Breaking news immediately. I'm Brian Houseworth, 93.9 The Eagle.
This is Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rathert. We are celebrating a Feel Good Friday, and like most Fridays, we are nominating winners and losers of the week. Actually, we're picking, I think, now. We've reimagined whether we will nominate or pick. I think we've been picking lately, so we've got some really good winners and losers lined up. I think first loser of the week has to be Biden.
Oh, for getting COVID?
Yes.
Ouch.
And it's not for getting COVID, but you know, I've heard this audio play on every news outlet the last week, but a year ago a year exactly from the date that he got COVID, there's audio of him saying, "Just get the vaccination and you won't get COVID." And then yeah. And so it's for that. It's not for getting COVID, it's for telling people if you get the vax, because I think at the time when he told people just get the jab, you won't get COVID, the science never really supported that. We knew it would help keep people from, being hospitalized, but the science never said if you get the vax, you won't get it at all. And he was out there, trying to scare people into getting the jab, and then he got it. And so again, he doesn't lose for getting COVID. He loses for trying to scare people into getting the vax and telling them something that was patently false.
Yeah, that didn't age well.
No, it sure did not. Brian, do you have any nominations or picks for winners and losers of the week?
I've got a couple here, and no losers of the week to nominate.
Come on, Brian.
Yeah, just one time, Brian. I want to hear you pick a loser.
One of these days, I'll try to give that. But Emmy, we talk about COVID. We had obviously in the community last week a rising number of cases, and I had to have a test. I've got a deviated septum, and I can't do it myself, and I had to go in, and it was very, very. It was horrible. If anyone has a deviated septum, you'll know what I'm talking about. But MU Health, kudos to the nurse who took care of me, because it was her patience to go, because it was very, very hard to go through what I had to go through. It affected my ears. It was bad. But thank you for that. And then on a much more positive note, let's give a shout out to Eli Drinkwitz for some of these players he is getting here. Around the state. They've got a big-time recruit they announced last night in the Kansas City area. And, Stephanie, they have lost a lot of recruits over the years. Mizzou, I mean, you could go all the way back to players in the 80s that have gone elsewhere. And, Woody Woodenhofer talked years ago about sealing the borders, but they're trying to do it. Hopefully that they can have a good season. Of course, it all translates to how they do on the field, but the recruiting looking pretty impressive at the wide receiver position immediately. So those would be my nominations today, the coach and his staff, and MU Health for taking care of me on a COVID test.
Yeah, so nice. Well, and the athletics, I mean, people don't realize that how important the athletics is to our local community and our small businesses. It brings so many people in from out of town, especially when those teams are doing really well. So I'm excited to see those recruits and hope that our hotels are full. And as we walk downtown, we see lots of folks from out of town spending their money in Columbia. I love to see that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's a game you can already circle it on your calendar. Georgia's coming to town here. I want to say in October. And if Mizzou has a good start, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I mean, the big game like that, potentially Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson coming to town for CBS. I mean, that would be my hope. I mean, when you have Nessler and Danielson come to town, they go to Alabama almost every week, or LSU, places like that. Be nice to see them here. Brad's never been here. Gary Danielson has.
Wonderful. Well, if you have nominations for winners or losers of the week, you can text us at 874-9390. I am getting a lot of nominations for Elijah Dickin. He is the one who gunned down the Greenwood Mall shooter, the Good Samaritan, and so a lot of nominations for him for winner of the week. Had a weapon on him, had a firearm on him, and as another man open fired, was able to take him down and save potentially many, many lives.
We also have Marissa checking in at 874-9390. We had a guest on earlier to talk about the Daniel Boone Little League team that is headed to Indianapolis for a regional championship, right?
Right.
Yeah, so she's giving them just another shout out. It's the DBLL All-Stars. And she said that their first game is Monday at 3 o'clock on ESPN+.
10 and 11-year-old girls playing softball on ESPN. Girls from right here in Columbia, Missouri. I don't know. When I was 11, I was not thinking about being that advanced in sports or even contemplating having to do like interviews on ESPN. Wouldn't that be neat?
Hard telling what a 10 or 11-year-old would say on camera for national television.
I'm excited. And again, we talked about what a hotbed of like baseball and softball Mid-Missouri is becoming, how many state championships Mid-Mo brought home this year. So those youth feeder programs are really important, and to all the folks involved, we're very excited to be able to cheer on a local team on such a national stage. So very exciting there. You got any other winners or losers of the week, Hannah?
I would say the folks from Paris that we highlighted earlier would be another winner of the week. The folks with High Limit Productions Foundation, they raised an astronomical amount of money for the Children's Miracle Network. What was it, $70,000?
In one event. That's huge.
And it's a crew of like 7 or 8 employees that got it accomplished. So they are another winner of the week.
I like it. So I think another winner of the week, I think, is Missouri. Governor Parson is going to take a trip here coming up. He and the First Lady are headed to the Netherlands and to Germany. And I had no idea, But so first of all, pretty cool that our governor gets to take these great trips, but he is kind of serving as the ambassador to Missouri. Missouri exported $679 million in goods to Germany last year, $223 million to the Netherlands. So these relationships are very important to Missouri and Missouri businesses. And it looks like next week Governor Parsons is going to head over there to kind of promote that and try to increase business over there. And I think that's just, you forget what an international impact our own state has. And it's important, I think, for us to be building those relationships daily. So any other winners or losers of your week, Hannah?
I feel like the real winner of the week is the plastic Shakespeare's cup.
Yeah.
You had a friend who posted on their Instagram story?
It was.
And it was just a picture of the, white plastic Shakespeare's cups that almost everybody has. And she basically said, are you even from mid-Missouri if you don't have at least one of these?
I love it. And it's so true because we all have them, right? I have a cabinet full of them. And, she's not even in Columbia anymore. So, once you're from Columbia or you live here for a while, you get those cups, you take them with you. And so it's kind of this iconic Columbia thing. Some of my favorite texts that we're getting from folks, though, Hannah, is what you can use the cup for besides drinking. And the one that we got that made the most sense, and you said you've seen this, is for like scooping things.
Yeah, scooping dog food specifically. I lived with roommates a couple years ago that had 2 dogs, and we definitely used one of those Shakespeare's cups to measure out the dog's food.
They're so sturdy.
Yes.
I mean,
Steven even said that he uses it for measurements in the kitchen all the time.
Okay.
Because I guess it's an even 2 cups. So
Okay.
the more you know.
Interesting. I mean, that is like marketing genius, and I don't know if there's anything else that's quite as iconic as that cup that everybody has. I have a whole like drawer full of koozies, and they're not the same. It's not as good as the Shakespeare's cup.
Yeah, no.
I always think if I was going to, put my logo on something, what would be the thing that people would actually use? And Shakespeare's has it down. Somebody once gave me a pizza cutter, and it's weird but I really like it. It was like a freebie. And so, you go to these conferences, you get all these freebies, a lot of the stuff gets thrown away. But you want to be the business with that item that people hang on to and use and remember. And I thought, the pizza cutter was like original. I still have it. It works well. I liked it.
The bank that I used to work at, they always had like branded chapstick in the lobby, and it was really good chapstick. So we would have customers come in all the time and take a couple because it was that good.
I know during COVID, a lot of people did the hand sanitizer. I wonder what they're doing with all that branded hand sanitizer now, because I doubt people are picking that up as often. If you have a good idea or tell us what the best item you've ever gotten a freebie from the business. Maybe there's something besides the Shakespeare's cup that could rival it. I really am enjoying the, me and I could never have an electric vehicle because I can't even keep my phone charged.
Yes.
Story.
Every morning you come into the studio, oh, dang, I forgot to charge my iPad. Oh, dang, my Apple Watch is dead.
Something is always dead. And so I've really been appreciating those people who give away like the little free charger banks. Now, granted, those things are kind of expensive, so not the easiest item to give away. But man, when I get one that I can just pop in my purse, because I never can keep all of my things charged. So anyway, let us know what your favorite freebie item is. And if you don't want us to share because it's like your gatekeeping your freebie item, we won't have to share. But we love to hear from you. If you have anything else you're celebrating this Friday, feeling good about, let us know. We've got some leftovers, some stories that we didn't get to that we will get to right after the break. You're listening to 93.9 The Eagle. This is Stephanie Bell in for Brandon Rathert. We are celebrating a Feel Good Friday on Wake Up Columbia. Let's go to the phone lines. Brent, what are you feeling good about today?
Hey, good morning. Well, first of all, feeling good listening to you and Wake Up Columbia. And last month was my birthday, and my family took me over to the Clydesdale farm over there at Booneville.
Oh, I haven't had a chance to be there, but I've heard it's awesome.
It is awesome. I mean, there were so many people there and everything. And, I mean, those horses are unbelievable. They average weight 2,000 pounds, and their average life is 20 years.
Huh. That's Warm Springs Ranch, right, in Booneville?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Now, so the follow-up to that is I said, well, I said it would be a good idea next time then to go to that, that little farm where they raise those little Shetland ponies a few miles down the road. And so I said, well, a friend of mine works there, and he said a couple months ago one of them had a baby. They named him Tony, the Shetland pony. I went over to talk to him, but he was a little hoarse.
Nice one, Brent. Thanks for checking in with us this morning. We're glad you're feeling good on this Friday. Have a good one. Marissa is also checking in. I love our listeners because they can fact check me all day long.
Oh no!
So apparently, I said the youth team that was playing was I think I said 10 and 11. It's actually 12 and 13-year-olds.
Oh dang it!
So that's the age where lying younger for their age. They want to all be older. So they're going to correct me and say that they're 12 and 13, which is good. Now, I am eternally 29. So I'm okay when people get my age wrong. Are you having microphone problems?
No. Mind your own business, Stephanie.
And Hannah has control of the video. Let's please put the video back on you so everyone else
switched it off of me on
can
purpose.
Laugh along with you as you struggle
it won't stay up.
with your microphone. That's hilarious. Oh, my goodness.
I think Brian Hansen broke it. I got it.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we've got a couple of things in leftovers that we didn't get around to. This is really interesting. And you know who we haven't had on the show lately is the Missouri Department of Conservation. I think we need to bring them back. Senator Blunt is backing this conservation bill. He's one of two senators pushing this bill, and it's called Recovering America's Wildlife Act. And they call it, it's supposed to give states about $1.4 billion in additional money for conservation purposes. I think this is really interesting because the Missouri Department of Conservation does so much. What they're saying is this bill would give our state $21 million more in annual funding, which is about double what the federal government currently contributes to conservation. So I think that's really great, and they're talking about it as kind of like a preventative measure for kind of existing programs that the conservation department's already working on. But Blunt is helping back that bill, and Congress will be keeping an eye on that. Other leftovers, Hannah, did I leave anything out that you wanted to get to today?
I don't think so.
All right.
You've done a good job.
Oh, thank
I always
you.
love when you fill in.
Oh, that's so nice. It's amazing to me that, what has it been? Only about a year and a half that they let me talk into the microphone by myself. Well, with you guys for 3 hours without our usual guide. So it's been really fun talking to all the listeners texting in today. Appreciate that. Let's recap, though, what we talked about here at the beginning. Just a big day in Mid-Mo yesterday. And Brian Houseworth and I split our time between two events that apparently no one in Mid-Mo realized were at the exact same time until last week. And then they were like, oh, no.
Do you think that they did that on purpose?
I don't think so. I think it was just a bad coincidence. Scheduling these days is so difficult already. But we had the big MoDOT event about the interchange yesterday. And I really would, we're really big here at Wake Up Columbia about getting involved and making your voice heard.